Yes, so I'm in trouble a little bit because you are really invisible. So I will start, in fact, because I would like also to make a kind of break before the concert.
Sure.
That would be much more safe, yes. So no matter what you are doing, I will start.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. We are starting the next part of the ODIAT conference. We had already some speeches, mostly at the Academy of Music, at the Studio for Electroacoustic Music, starting from Friday 16th. And yesterday we have the last speech yesterday was by Giorgio San Cristoforo, talking not only about his project, but rather about the software and the concept he's using. So the last lecture was called Tropical Additive Synthesis by Max, using Max and pure data. And I have a big request to you sitting there. If you can stop talking. Red Ink, that's his name, nickname, you know, and it doesn't react for his nickname. And that's Tomek? Bo ja zacząłem i właśnie chciałem, bo to się nagrywa, to w ogóle leci w eter i dlatego serdecznie Państwa witam jeszcze raz, tym razem w języku polskim, czyli wcześniej było w języku angielskim, to było dla artystów, a teraz jest w języku polskim dla tych wszystkich, którzy są z nami, a są tłumy z nami. Dobra. Wiesz co? Mam taki statyw popielaty w którejś torbie na samym dnie. Chyba w tej torbie, gdzie są umowy. Bo w ten sposób to wziąłem do... Tam jest, tak jest. Oh, ludzie się szodzą, people are coming, you know, so we will be in trouble in certain moment to keep the crowd here with us, you know. This is the main problem in most of the cases. So we are, yes. Do we keep the title of the presentation as the title of the project, or we go slightly to another direction? What do you think? Hilary, just tell me, what is your feeling? Just keep this, okay, we don't change anything. What was announced is going on, so that's no surprises. So if you can tell us a little bit more. I know that it looks like an interview now. I'm from the local TV station making an interview with the artist before the show. But in fact, I would like also to suggest that in certain moment you would be requested to put some questions, even about the project you don't know, which is quite nice, you know, to ask questions about something you don't know. And so go ahead.
We can start by introducing ourselves. So,
I know that
this is an ensemble. The name of the ensemble is Inconsolable Ghost. And we can explain what the meaning of the ghost, the title of the group is. But first I can introduce the people. So this is Joe from Budapest. Maybe you can say something about what you do.
Yeah, so first of all, this is my third time at the Audi Art Festival. And,
oh, you remember so good, great.
Yes. I was here first time with Erno Király, a great composer from Vojvodina. He died more than 10 years ago. So, but anyway, I'm an independent musician, sound artist from Budapest, in concert situations, and when I play electroacoustic music like this in this group, this is my equipment, the main basic equipment. So I use like an expanded viola or a viola as an instrument which is capable for lots of different sounds to produce and to create a special sound world with this. So I use electronics with this instrument. This is a 5-string instrument, which is also like a mutant version of an old instrument, and some other electronics, some homemade electronics also, and modified electronics. And also teaching at the Liszt Ferenc Academy of Music. There's a new department since like 2012, I think, or 13. And the name of this department is Electronic Music Media Art Department, and I'm also a teacher there. And I'm working with lots of electronic musicians since the 90s. From different countries also, so we have projects like Inconsolable Ghost, which is Moses, a musician and a visual artist from Holland, and Hillary from England, who lives in Berlin. So it's like interesting mixture of the cultural backgrounds too. So it's also important for me. And I'm also doing workshops regularly about free improvised music and this cultural mixture and the cultural heritage of our new music heritage and thinking is very important in improvised music. Well, and I'm also independent curator of music events and film screenings and film events too. I'm also working with filmmakers and Inconsolable Ghost, also working with filmmakers, and Gideon himself also a filmmaker. So, what else can I say?
That's enough.
That's enough.
This is Mio.
I'm Mio Dragladec, wherever it calls me Mio.
Where are you from?
Zagreb, Croatia.
Zagreb?
Yeah. I do many different things related to sound. By profession I'm an engineer in acoustics.
Okay.
I do also this sound engineering stuff. I also do a bit of lecturing at the University of Media Design for a sound design department, and also do music. In the past, I do a lot. I come from this underground noise scene, like noise rock scene. This is something I did really for a long time from the 90s. And then last 7-8 years, I started different stuff, developing some new instruments for a new way of musical expression, or using some different technology or interfaces to create music. I have this duo which is called Light1G, which is we developed this Lumina Acoustics, which is a direct translation of light to sound through a photovoltaic effect of a solar panel. This is what I mainly do, and first time I played with the Inconsolable Ghost was 2013.
15.
No?
15.
We will check it.
Okay.
15. Exactly.
15. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
In Zagreb, actually, was the time when I had worked with Hillary as a part of another project as an experimental ensemble of student center music salon. So I joined the band and had a really nice experience in this nice older theater hall in Zagreb. And since then, joined the group as much as I can. Now I still use original and guitar player, but I somehow create parts in a different way, not really playing it or touching it too much. So I try to make it run by itself, and controlling it with the PD software, and that's it.
Yes. So we go on the row. Yes.
I'm from Amsterdam.
Uh-huh.
Actually, now I'm from Zagreb since the last 4 years.
Uh-huh.
I've moved there. Me and Hillary had been.
So you came from Zagreb, passing Budapest. Yes,
Yes.
that was a trip. And here I was flying, and then you by bus. That's better even. Okay.
So we have been playing for I don't know, God knows how long together.
Here, that's why
15 years or something.
That's why I expect you on the airport, not at the bus station. Okay.
I'm an audiovisual artist in broadest sense,
Uh-huh.
working with digital tools.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be a drummer, but gave that up some time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm using mostly digital means.
Yeah, nice video.
Yes,
It's nice video.
videos, audiovisual part. This is made by Makino Takashi from
Uh-huh.
Japan.
Uh-huh.
He's our virtual member at the moment because
Okay.
he's over there.
Mm-hmm.
And this is his work. It's a mix of analog and digital film.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, he's a very prolific filmmaker. And when he's here,
Jest
he
też na dole.
joins in and makes music.
Para została. Dobra.
But for now, we can just show his work.
W tle komputer, który mi skradził w zeszłym roku.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's. Okay,
I'm
Hillary. Yes.
And I'm a composer and a trombone player. Tonight I'm going to play the trumpet, which I don't normally do.
Uh-huh.
I decided-
Not trombone, but trumpet.
For this gig I'm playing the trumpet, which is something,
So that's one mistake in a program.
something new.
Apologize.
I can explain a little bit.
Or maybe
about-
not,
I
I
can
don't know.
explain a little bit about this group. I mean, me and Gideon, we used to play in a band, and then as bands tend to like fall apart and go wrong. And this was a classic example of a successful band, which unfortunately didn't really work out. So when we started Inconsolable Ghost, we had the feeling that there was something which hadn't been said, like something which didn't should have been said that wasn't said. So we had this idea that there's a ghost, which is an unhappy ghost that still needs to express something. And so we had the idea that we're going to create a band which is doing channeling. Do you know what channeling is?
Channeling.
Channeling. It's like there's a long tradition actually in music of different forms of channeling. Basically, channeling it means instead of you playing your music, you get played by somebody else. So you open yourself as a channel.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I think it happens a lot in improvised music. For instance, when you play purely improvised music,
Uh-huh.
you're often channeling something in the room. It could be the audience, it could be the atmosphere. So the whole idea was to channel this ghost. So when we do a concert, we try to say that it's not us that's playing, but we're being played by the ghost. And I had some examples of different types of channeling which I wanted to play. So this is a recording of somebody who she claims that she channels the ghosts of famous composers, and they dictate music to her. So I want to play this example. So her name is, what's her name? Rosemary Brown, and she'll talk about her channeling.
It is, of course, a great privilege. Chopin is not at all like I might have thought he would be. He's not melancholy at all.
Chopin. She's talking about Chopin.
He's quite light-hearted. His conversation is bantering, and he often teases.
In fact, there were many Chopins,
he's
but
a very quick worker. he works far more quickly than any of the other composers. And I've also found that he's very considerate. If he's been working with me and we've got, say, 2 pages of music written out, and then he finds my concentration is waning because I'm getting tired, he winds the piece of music off quickly, so it isn't left incomplete. But then sometime later, this can be weeks or months later, he'll come along and say, well, now I'll give you the rest of such and such a piece of music. And he'll give me quite a number of bars, perhaps 2 or 3 dozen bars, but instead of this being added to the end of the music, he tells me exactly where it has to be inserted in the music. I've also found that Schubert is a very delightful person, very lovable, very modest still, quite a gay sort of person, and he communicates very smoothly and quietly. I think Schubert is the only one of the composers who sometimes alters music just after he's given it to me. We'll be working away and suddenly he'll say, stop, I don't like those last two bars, cross them out and I'll give you something else. All the other composers seem to have the music prepared before they bring it to me, but it's as if Schubert is still composing the music as he actually gives it to me. I remember when he dictated Moment Musical, after he'd completed it, I wondered what other people would think of it. And Liszt stepped forward and he said, that piece of music is both excellent and exquisite. And I found that a number of people agree with Liszt. I was delighted to find Liszt so generous in his praise of another composer's music, which I understand is typical of this great soul.
This woman, she basically claims that she's talking with these dead composers, and they're dictating music to her. And there's Schubert, Liszt, Chopin. But then at the end she talks about, it is quite strange because she talks about a new piece by Liszt, which the BBC visitor, and then she talks about this very difficult piece that Liszt composed for. I'll just play the end of this because it's quite interesting. So it's the idea, I mean, there's always been an idea, I think, in music. I mean, a very famous composer who did channeling is Chelsea. Italian composer.
It was clue, and then to compose pieces which were not composed by Rimsky-Korsakov. So that's the idea. Well, in fact, in many concepts, academic concepts, it's present. In fact, we are referring to certain language, aesthetics, but it's not called like this so much directly.
So probably this woman, she's probably actually very talented, and she's actually able to compose in the style of all these composers. Rather than saying I'm a talented musician, she's saying I'm channeling the ghosts of the dead. I'll just play the end of this
manuscript in front of him, and there was a hush for a few seconds, and I wondered whether he was going to say, well, I don't think much of that.
This is the BBC guy who played through this list.
But he turned round to me very slowly and said, Mrs. Brown, I think you've got something here. You can imagine how relieved I was to know that the music Liszt was dictating was actually something considered quite valuable. At first, I didn't care very much for Grubelei.
So I'll play a little bit. So this is she claims that Liszt dictated a piece to her, and then she couldn't play it. It was too difficult for her to play. So she got this guy from the BBC to play this piece. And then he played it, and then he was like, wow, this is actually it's quite something. So she was quite, that's what she said now, she was quite happy that this guy took it very seriously. So we can play a little clip of this piece. So this is the transcription of this Liszt piece. And it does sound quite like this. So this is dictated from the spirit world. Well, she came up with it.
We had a Chopin year, by the way, several years ago, and there was many really brilliant projects around. I recommend a piece by Jarosław Kapuściński called Where is Chopin? And he played a Chopin music. And you have the feeling that you listen to Chopin, but there's no piece like this in his repertoire. So that's.
So this is like one example of channeling. So this is
channeling.
somebody who thinks that she's channeling the music of Liszt, Chopin, all these people.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but there's other examples of this type of being possessed by a spirit. For instance, there's this whole phenomena of often in churches in America, people do speaking in tongues. So they speak this kind of nonsense language, but they claim that it's God speaking through them.
Uh-huh.
And we don't necessarily agree with all this, but this is an inspiration for our artistic. So this is an example of that, speaking in tongues.
Yapata Santiyati Shamata Atiyapa Siviati Shamata Sakatiyati Yapa Kasanya Yeviati Shamonia.
Halasuna Makia Koye, Hurpayera Kaniana Makasha, Hushana Yerba Kuyi Kaniera Bakia Kanye, Hurpasaniera Makanye, Hulariana Makio Koye, Koye Kashuntarie, Harie Suna Makaye Koye.
You can go to iTunes, to radio internet, go to religious channel, and then you have Bible in many languages. So in fact, most of them are completely unknown.
But this is not
And
the real language.
yeah, I know now, but they're a little bit the same because we can't recognize. This is not really what we can get it, you know. But this intonation is like religious, beautiful.
And it has this kind of spooky quality to it. It's a little bit.
Uh-huh.
It's also like sound poetry, really. It's like it could be Kurt Schwitters or something.
Uh-huh.
So it's connected to sound poetry, but it also has apparently another meaning. What other examples do we have? I've got an example of a guy contacting a dead airplane. Somebody died in an airplane crash.
Uh-huh.
So this is like, I mean, it was a kind of a fashion in the beginning of the 20th century. There was this fashion for contacting the dead, like so seances and speaking with spirits, all that kind of thing. And I met a few years ago. It's more about aliens. So now people, when they do the spiritism, they think they're talking to aliens from outer space, rather than the dead. I'll just play this. This is another example. I'm just giving a few various examples of this channeling and spiritism.
Save you, yes. Yes, we're here to save you. Tell us. I can hear you, yes. Tell us what happened. Tell us what happened. Fire? Yes. The plane caught fire? And it crashed? Yes. Where did it crash? Do you remember? Near. Church? There's a church? Yes. Oh, I got that. Dusty Miller. Pat Sullivan. Yes. Cherry Arnold. What can we do? Well, you know, can you hear me? You know you've left the earth behind. In the plane you died. Do you remember that? Yes. But look up. Don't be afraid. Let go of the earth. Let go of the earth. Understand? You don't belong here. Yes. Look up. Ask for help. Upwards. And go towards the light. But you're holding yourself down. Tell that to Jerry. To Dustin. And to Pat Sullivan.
Well, I was just thinking now what's interesting about this is that this is all from the early 20th century recording. And at that time they didn't have much technology, they only had people, actors really. So there were these actors who would claim that they would speak like this. The voice of the kind of breathless voice is somebody acting basically and saying that he's possessed by this voice and this voice is speaking through him. But the interesting thing these days is that we live in this time of technology everywhere, and I mean, there's like, without us even hearing anything, there's voices being transmitted all through us as we speak, like with all the mobile phones and Wi-Fi and everything, and that's really interesting. So now we're constantly channeling something all the time, and that's also what we're working with this project. I just thought of there's a very good Mexican sound artist called Mario de Vega.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of him?
Yeah, he was here recently.
Gideon organizes a festival in Amsterdam, Sonic Act, and he did an amazing piece there where he had these antennas and he would pick up everything in the air.
Playing Krakow. Yeah.
Super. And then you hear all the stuff which is happening.
In certain moment of the performance, this tower crashed, and there was like predictable in a way, you know. And he used it as a really advantage that something gets, you know, he got the signal, he got the message, and it was really dramatic in the climate of the performance. In Bunker Sztuki, it happened in Bunker Sztuki, on the space we are using now for installations. There was really super performance, like 3 months or 4 months ago.
And I think, I mean, musicians are always somehow channeling what's in the air. It's interesting to think about what, you know, how all this stuff which is in the air, which Mario shows, affects us, because it must affect us somehow. And I'll play one other example, because this is a voice on an answering machine. So often people hear things on their answering machines, like after somebody dies, the phone rings, but there's nobody there, or you hear a voice or something. So I'll just play that for sure. So that was a message on the answer. So somebody, they had that on their answer machine, they claim.
So what
people that they have, there's other examples of people who have tapes with just noise, like short radio noise and stuff, and inside that you hear these voices. It's this EVP.
Yes, electro voice phenomena.
Which is also very interesting. So somehow we're kind of, this group is kind of somehow we're kind of interested in creating this atmosphere of channeling, this kind of spooky ghost atmosphere. And when we perform art, the idea is that we really try to take it seriously. The idea that we are channeling a ghost when we play. So it's not us playing at something we're going to play. Sometimes it feels really. I mean, the gig we did in Zagreb with Mio. It was the first time that we really felt that there was something. Like we really felt that something happened. It was quite spooky. Tonight we don't know. Maybe the ghost will come or not. We have to see. I'm trying to think what we should.
Well, maybe a little bit about technology, because it's kind of regular, because we have a lot of stuff, you know, a lot of devices, but that's also sometimes quite interesting, because the festival is full of different solutions, and most of them are alternative, you know, like hardware hacking mixed up of different things. So sometimes it's really something interesting when you get from your background and then you are getting the meeting. So that's, I think it's always a certain kind of fusion. Yes, so that would be interesting.
I mean, one important aspect of what we do is also the film. So we're doing. I mean, the type of work we're doing fits into this. There's a kind of area which is called expanded cinema, which is kind of what happens after when cinema leaves. Because cinema originally was just another form of theatre. Really, it was.
Yes, movie theatre.
Where you tell a story. You know, you have a love story or a murder or whatever, but you could also read it in a book, or you could show it on the stage, or you could present it. So that cinema is still often in this format, but actually the medium of cinema allows for many other more abstract approaches. There's this whole idea of synesthetic cinema, so that the cinema is not just a screen where you watch a story, it's actually something else entirely. It's a multimedia thing, and that's kind of what we also work. We have the film you see now. This is Japanese filmmaker called Makino Takashi, He also performs with us sometimes. This is a film he made using our music. Actually,
I have a request to you.
The music
If you can
the first ever
put
gig of
the beer
Inconsolable
aside
Ghost,
and keep it for a moment, because I
me and
have a
Gideon were
stand.
supposed to
I have
be
a
there, but
stand.
we couldn't make it, so we were actually there as ghosts. And then he made a
I
film
asked
based
somebody,
on
but
this,
they didn't find it, so
maybe we should watch it. This is it. Maybe we could listen to the sound. I've got the sound of it actually, so I can just play the sound at the same time. So we basically did a gig. We did a channeling gig of the Inconsolable Ghost, the first one, and we weren't there. We were there not physically. So I'll just play a little example. So that's just a little example of this first concert. The thing is with this project is that it's usually a different lineup, so it's not always the same people. So the first lineup was a guitar player, a bass player, Makino, and then there were two ghosts present at the gig. Actually I found a quote. I guess some of you know Michał Libera, the Polish. So he organised a concert for us in Sokolowsko, and we performed in the cinema. I mean, our favourite venue to perform is old cinemas. That's how it fits somehow to play in a really old, spooky cinema. And there's an amazing one in Sokolowsko, which is where Slavsky was there as a boy. His father had tuberculosis in the sanatorium, and as a boy he was sneaking into the cinema to look at the film. And so we played at this. We did a concert there, and Michał wrote a nice text about what we do. So I'll just read this text. He says the performances of Inconsolable Ghost can be introduced as an occult version of expanded cinema, a fully audio-visual experience in which sound is not just meant to accompany the image, while the image is not only constrained to the framework of the cinema screen. So it's we're trying to break down the borders between cinema and concert to find this kind of expanded experience. And I think, and then the photo, I mean, of course, that could go in many directions, but the thing that we have which makes this project special is that we have the ghost direct what we do. I don't know if I've explained it. You want to say something?
Yeah, so there are lots of interesting aspects of this process, how we work, I think. And I'm also teaching film music analysis at this new department, the Music Academy, and I'm interested in very much about the new filmmakers and what they are doing and how is it possible to continue the experimental cinema nowadays. And I just found that lots of young filmmakers working more and more with the sound in their films, and the sound becomes the same meta level as the visuality in their films. For example, one of my best friends is an English filmmaker and also a sound artist, and he was a former sound artist, I can say this. Peter Strickland, whose film, for example, the Birmingham Sound Studio, is like a meta thriller, an art house thriller film, which is really focusing on the sound, some kind of sound thriller. And the protagonist of our movie is a Foley artist from the 70s from England, who was invited to Italy to working on a dialogue movie sound. You know, and you never seen any images from the film what they are working on. You see the other side of the screen, and you hear everything. So and it's also really great. And what is maybe more, maybe you know better than this film, it has become a big success soon after they released the film. It's a new Hungarian film called Son of Shaul, which got the Oscar prize. And it's like also this film used really at the same level as the visuality, the sound. So you cannot see, because this film, if you don't know that, maybe some of you, it's about Auschwitz-Birkenau, it's about the Holocaust, and you can follow 24 hours of a Sunday Commando member in this film. And of course, the director, Laszlo Nemes never shown you the horror of Auschwitz. You can hear just the horror. So you really recreate in your mind the cinematic experience. So these sort of movies and this sort of approach to the cinema is like gives a chance to the medium to be really very creative in your mind. So you need to be this is the way how they liberate your fantasy. Instead of such a Hollywood movies where you can get the recreated super expensive CGI fantasies, you know, and you don't need to recreate something in your mind, just to eat it and then go to the toilet. So that's gonna out from you, or how can I say? I'm sorry, but this is different. So it's like I believe in art where liberate your fantasy, and I think live art can do this. If you were somewhere in the same space and time when the action happens, when the event happens, is the most powerful communication between the art form and the audience. And cinema getting closer to this also. And I like the approach of Inconsolable Ghosts because I see the same way, but from the music. And also there are lots of efforts came from sound artists and musicians to develop new technologies through cinema and try to create new messages, possibilities of new messages through using cinema and moving images, which is really seems very connected to the sound. Not so long ago, but maybe Hillary knows better when I did, I don't know really exactly, but maybe in 2015 or something, there is an interesting double bass player and creator in Berlin from America, Christopher Williams. He organized a festival, or I think there was a festival of music festival, sound art festival, but but you only can see only movies. So it's like a sound movie festival. But it was, of course, the abstract way of filmmaking, of course. So, yeah, just yeah, and I think this is a new way of intermedia nowadays.
And there's this book which I've just been looking at it recently. It's actually from 1970. So it's a sort of a ghost, because if there is this ghost, maybe we're just making it up. Maybe there is some kind of a ghost. The only way this ghost can transmit to us is through some form of consciousness. And maybe it gets inside the cables, maybe it gets somehow inside the machine. But basically it's the mind, something of the mind, only the mind. And that's actually the idea of the inconsolable ghost. Is that we have different media of computer, instruments, electronics, cinema, smoke, trumpet. But actually the real medium has nothing to do with any of those material things. It's actually it's a consciousness. So that's kind of the point of it, in my opinion. Maybe there's some questions. Or anything you need to have clarified. I mean, in 30 minutes we will perform, or the ghost will perform for us. We will channel the ghost in 30 minutes.
Is it
It's
It's 5:30 now, yes?
That's 5:30.
and we start at 6?
At 6, yes. Perhaps we will start going down, to the before 6 I will direct people to going down to visit the installation downstairs by Seiichiro Matsumura, your angelic voice, where in fact, angelic voice is there. It's a nice introduction to your to your performance. Yeah, we intended to start it to open on Friday, but we are in fact starting today. There will be 2 installations every day, different, by the same author. So the second one is Sound Wrinkle, but the first one is Angel. So I think that is because what I said. There's a nice telling about like an introduction to the program, which we'll get at 6 o'clock. And I think that I'm the only one who saw the project before.
Yeah.
Because I was in Sokołowska.
You
were as well. Yes. So we shouldn't ask too much.
So you were also there in Sokołowska.
Yeah, Sokołowska. That's another place also. Kind of, with the old cinema.
Yeah.
So we're also discussing about the performance which should be located in a cinema.
Yeah.
But the space has very special character.
Yeah,
with the history and the location. So I think, especially with this
we have the
video.
surround video, so it should be.
Yes.
And Makino, the Japanese filmmaker, he made a film specially for this performance. So this is what we'll see tonight is new, brand new from Japan. So it's also a special feature.
Right. So that's great. Thank you very much. I think that's we should make some break before. That would be also good to chill out a little bit and to we were also not quite clear about the bar, but the bar will be open and they are very delicate. So that's also. It depends on the program. Sometimes when the program is a little bit louder, then there's no problem. But when it really needs a very special concentration with a tiny sound, so then I'm okay with that. But in general, as I did explain, we are a little bit new here. The place is relatively new because it was opened last year. So it's yeah. There are many places here, like Alchemia. In fact, there are the same people in charge of this place, like Alchemia, also experimental theater and concert venue, very close here.
We did play the Ishkanov example.
You should go there also to
You
see
want to
this.
play it? Sure.
Oh, you want to go there and play there?
No, we just
Half an hour. That's
But maybe we'll play one other thing because we did some music for a Russian film. There's a Russian filmmaker called Andrei Ishkanov who lives in Far East Russia, and he's an incredible filmmaker. And the Inconsolable Ghost, we did some music for one of his films. His films are also very special use of sound. And I've got a clip of the film, but it's not the final version of the film. So this is the version where you hear our music more clearly. Because in the final film, our music is very low in the mix. So maybe
7 minutes.
But you can hear the full track on the soundtrack CD.
Maybe we can turn these lights on. Maybe it's okay.
From Habarovsk, he's also a young filmmaker. He worked on this movie in 13 years, from 2003 to 2016.
This is the DVD. You can't see it so clearly, but
better to one screen, perhaps. It was a little bit my problem when we show up here. It was like an attraction, you know, everything goes around, but then I said, in fact in my program I have nothing like this, so I don't, well, we have to select that. Either one or yes, that. Yesterday there was well, we've been, so we were making another arrangement because it was intended to be on 2 screens, all three. So they use 3 screens, but irregular. So that was also nice. Also, the earlier, I don't know whether you've been to Giorgio San Cristoforo. The concert before was intended to be darkness, but then we decided to use his score like moving around. Yes, a little bit slowly, you know, like.